Well, hello there, motherfuckers. Maybe I made a mistake. I think maybe wrestling, maybe this is the future, right? Maybe it is. You know, I was taking a look at WWE 205 Live, and I was like, this is the future of wrestling. In fact, it even reminds me of a lot of futuristic movies. You know, like when they have those societies where everybody looks the fucking same. I mean, I can't even tell one guy apart from the other. These are probably the most generic looking people I've ever fucking seen in my whole fucking life. I mean, you look at these guys and you look at their faces and you just like, these are just everyday people. And I'm sick of seeing the argument that, oh, this is inspirational because it shows that even I could do this. How many times are we going to use that excuse for wrestlers already? How many times are we going to say that? That, you know, the same thing, Daniel Bryan, Colt Cabana, every single wrestler that comes along in WWE or otherwise, oh, this guy is inspirational. He shows that I can do this. You know, that anybody can be a wrestler. That was fun. That was interesting when we had it for the first, 20 guys. But now that we're on, like, the fucking 78th guy where we're saying, oh, this guy's inspirational. It shows that even I can do this. I'm kind of getting a little sick of making that fucking excuse for every single fucking wrestler. And you should probably do the same. I mean, every single wrestler, we're going to make this excuse. Oh, this just shows that anyone can be a wrestler. I mean, how are we supposed to buy into that bullshit? I'm fucking sick and tired of this, because, yeah, it is. Wrestling is the future. Seriously, it reminds me of a movie where everybody looks the fucking same. And we can't keep making this excuse for them. Every single guy that comes along doesn't stand out. Every single guy that comes along just ends up being a flash in the pan. They have no new stars. You know, you could really blame it on the fans, you know, popping for this in the crowd, or you could blame it on WWE for listening to the small minority audience that's basically keeping them afloat now, because anybody who was really entertained by wrestling, like in the Attitude Era or back in the 80s, they're already gone. Those people are fucking sick and tired and fed up of that fucking of this fucking bullshit that they put out now. And they, you know, like I said, we're watching a product where they actually admit on the network that they're not as good as they used to be. Why should we tolerate a company that outright admits that they're just giving us shit right now? They tell us, oh, it was the Monday Night Wars, it was a different time. Oh, okay then. So that means that, you know, you're not going to try anymore. All right, we'll see you later. Call me when you're going to fucking try again. I mean, it really is sad. Like I said, they admit they suck on the network. They admit this all the time. You know, they don't even just talk like it was a different time in wrestling. They say it was a different time in wrestling, but they said, you know, they were trying different things. But we're not going to try different things anymore. Fuck that. Crash TV is done. You know, surprises, unpredictability, you know, hard-hitting storylines, cutting-edge material. This is all said and done. Characters, wrestlers that actually stand out, that look like, you know, movie stars. That shit is dead and buried. We're not going to do that anymore. We're never going to do that anymore. That was a different time in wrestling. I'm not going to tolerate that. That's what I said. You know, this is what I said. I'm not going to sit down in front of my TV anymore and watch a whole episode of Raw or SmackDown if they're not going to at least try to even give me wrestlers that look like fucking wrestlers. Instead, it's going to be, oh, now it's going to be like, we want to make WWE look like anybody could be this. Why do I want to watch a show where, you know, anybody could just do this? That makes it very insignificant. You know what I'm saying? Back when it was like, wow, you just stand back in awe. You felt like, even if you were a guy on your couch who was like fucking 6'7", you'd still feel really tiny compared to these guys. Even if you actually were taller than The Rock, because these guys seemed larger than life. They had celebrity to them. That's why people like The Rock went on to make so many fucking movies, because they actually did look like movie stars. They looked important. You wanted to watch them because they looked important. They looked like, you know, you had to see them. You just fell in love with these characters. They had a certain level of coolness, and entertainment value. You know, it was like shows, like I said, like The Walking Dead, that have interesting characters that make you want to follow them, that make you want to keep on tuning in because you want to see what's going to happen with them next week. We don't have that anymore. Like I said, now it's just match, promo. Stephanie McMahon screaming at the top of her lungs, making Mick Foley apologize to her. And other than that, we don't really have anything stimulating. Other than that, that's not stimulating in itself. So, why hang around? If this is the future of wrestling, the future looks pretty fucking grim. It doesn't look bright. It looks dull. It looks uninteresting. There's nothing intriguing about it. There's no interesting characters to look at that make you want to follow them. No, there's nothing on the horizon. All right, this is what I'm saying. Give us something to look forward to. Give us something to look. Okay, Undertaker's going to be in the Rumble. We're going to have Brock and Goldberg at WrestleMania. And after WrestleMania ends, The Undertaker will go away. Brock Lesnar will go away for another couple of months. Goldberg will go away probably forever. And then, what stars are we left with, huh? Anybody? What is this going to even fucking lead to? Also, Seth Rollins, if he ends up facing Triple H at WrestleMania, even if he beats Triple H, where are they going to go from there? Are they going to build off of that? Or are we just going to have, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens for the next couple of months after that as well? Because that's the way how it looks like it's going. Every single time they make a big match, there's no follow-up. They have to keep it going. It really is. It's ridiculous. There's no future for wrestling. And what I mean by that is just they have nothing fucking planned of any interest. They're going to keep going and going with the same old bullshit. And then once in a while they're going to pull out, a trump card. They're going to give you a Goldberg back. And then it's going to be back to business as usual. Back to the same fucking lame-ass wrestlers that we have. I remember a time when Vince McMahon would scoff at the idea of bringing in indie talent. He would scoff at indie promotions. And, he would say, this is the big leagues. This is, where it's at. Now, WWE is now catering to these fans. I mean, I don't know what kind of alternate reality this is, but this is the one that they want us to watch. And like I said, I have no interest in this. This is a company that has lowered its standards to the point where they couldn't possibly be lowered anymore. It's terrible. It's uninteresting. There's nothing stimulating about watching it. Why watch these matches? Why would watch these guys? They all look the same. They look like fucking clone troopers in episode 2, for fuck's sakes. They all have basically the same face, the same build, the same moves. They all have no character. The same level of promo skills, non-existent. I mean, what purpose is there to watch this show? There is none. None at all. Very uninteresting. It's terrible TV. With all these other shows on TV with different characters and different situations and different storylines and cliffhangers at the end of each episode, what purpose is there to watch WWE? There's no reason to watch them at all. You know what I'm saying? You'll have a good match here and then, but what does that match even mean? Every single match that they've had in the past couple of years has been pretty forgettable. I can't even think of one off the top of my head that's been good. I remember at the time, I would say, like, during a pay-per-view review or a Raw review, like, oh, that was a great match. It was great. It was an excellent match. But I can't even remember those matches anymore. And those matches are not even talked about. When's the last time we had a match like like Mankind versus Undertaker at King of the Ring 1998. When's the last time we had a match that was like TLC at SummerSlam in 2000? We've had matches that that were similar. We've had so many TLC matches and ladder matches, but none of those matches, for some reason, could compare to that match. They couldn't compare to TLC or to the Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania 2000 for some reason. There's a problem there when we haven't had matches like in fucking 16, 17 years that have really had any type of lasting effect on us. And why is this? It's because they don't even bother to build these matches. They don't even create a legacy for these matches. I mean, these are matches that are sketched within the annals of time forever because they had such a vast effect on the audience and on the company, where even the company had to stand back and say, hey, we did a really good job with this. I don't think that there's any matches nowadays really where they even pat themselves on the back at all. They don't go back to it. You watch the network, this is usually the matches they talk about. The Hell in the Cell match. In 1998, they talk about the Austin and Rock matches at WrestleMania. They talk about the TLC matches with the tag teams. They talk about Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon in their ladder match. They talk about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man match. They talk about these matches, Andre and Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior and Hogan. These are matches that had legacies, and these were matches that were mostly approved by fans, and people really got into them. They had a magical effect on them. You don't see matches like that. Name a match from the past couple of years, really. There was Cena and Rock, really. That was maybe the last one where it really had a huge effect on people. Really, people sat around and talked about that match and, said like, okay, now that was a match that won't be forgotten too soon. But every other match, really, kind of like after that, when I really think about it off the top of my head from all the other pay-per-views and Raws, it's not really remembered. Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, WrestleMania ending the streak, that kind of goes without saying, but I can't really say even they built off of that the way that they should have. Like I'm saying, when's the last time they had a great match and then they still continued to build off of that? To really cement the legacy of that match, it was kind of like the match happened and it was quickly forgotten about. They brought it up, but it still didn't even seem like it had much of a legacy. That's the problem. They don't build legacies for their talent. That's why you notice that certain wrestlers don't have the effect of a Stone Cold or a Rock or a Hulk Hogan or a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels, because they don't have that magic behind them. These guys, they don't. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, like you said, talented guys without a fucking doubt. But are they magical? Do they seem larger than life? Not really. You look at these guys and you're like, okay, well, I guess you could say that they have somewhat of a look to them. But then when you put them up and you look at Stone Cold and The Rock, or Batista, or even John Cena, you're just like, that's why I said, guys, like, I kind of even changed my tune. I'm not a big Cena fan. I don't think he's one of the greatest of all time. Those are, like, really exaggerated claims. But at least when you look at Cena, he looks like he's a somebody. He sounds like he's a somebody, and let's face it, he's had some memorable matches, without a doubt. I mean, think of the top of your head. Chances are probably some of the better matches within the past couple of years, Cena was probably involved in them. So there you go, folks. I mean, wrestling, there's really no hope for it. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, you look at something like the Final Deletion and what they've done in TNA, and those are interesting things. That's the closest I've seen wrestling get to something truly exciting, truly memorable. You can see my reactions to some of those things. But, it's like, I feel like wrestled out, really. That's why I didn't even watch the last deletion pay-per-view that they had from TNA. I just really can't do it at the moment. Like I said, I'm doing it for my subs mostly, talking a little bit about wrestling, trying to, satisfy some of those cravings people want, some rants here and there. So, like, I'm trying to give you guys a couple more. I'm trying to do what I can as far as wrestling. But let's be quite honest. There's really not a lot to talk about. Really, like, you watch these shows, I'm skimming through Raw here on YouTube. I see Undertaker, I see Shawn Michaels. I'm like, okay, so I'll do reaction vids to those. But then for the rest of the show, I'm like, what really happened? What am I going to talk about here? Once in a while, something happens, but I can't really talk about these matches. I can't really discuss anything because nothing's really happening. It's the same fucking shit. The same fucking shit over and over. Each episode is identical. Once in a while, like, I'll get a good rant together. I'll get some energy in me to do, like, the Stephanie Sucks video. But other than that, like, Stephanie has always sucked. That's not something new. It's just, I was watching this segment, and I was like, you know what? I'm fucking sick and tired of already. I got a rant on her. That's kind of what that was. But really, that's not really news. That's not something that's shocking. That's not something really original. That's what I'm saying. So really, I kind of run out of material sometimes to rant about. I mean, I could go back to the well and come up with different little things, but it's going to start to feel contrived after a while. I mean, what am I really going to rant on here? You guys have heard it all, because I'm just going to basically say the same things but apply it to different situations. I've been saying they're doing the same thing over and over. I say that it doesn't make sense what they're doing. I don't see why they're doing it this way. It's match, promo. I've said this every single Raw review, every single rant, and really, quite frankly, it's tiresome. I know some people don't get tired of it, but I get tired of talking about it already. It's because I said it's the same shit over and goddamn over again. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore, guys. I can't watch this show, and I can't continue to talk about it if I don't feel stimulated about it. It is boring as fuck. There's nothing going on. They got a new show, 205 Live, that they're promoting the fuck out of, and all it is a bunch of guys that look the same, that are doing the same exact moves as the guys that are on Raw and SmackDown. What's the fucking difference? Everybody does fucking suicide dives. Everybody does 1,000 fucking super kicks per match. What's different? Why is this show worth watching? Because these guys are in a certain weight class? Fuck these motherfuckers. Seth Rollins is in the same fucking weight class as them. And he's the fucking, he's been a world champion, for fuck's sakes. You know what I'm saying? Why is he not in that division? It makes no fucking sense. Why are we watching a show that's basically the same as the show that we just watched prior to it, right? 205 Live comes after SmackDown. We just saw that same level of action. Dean Ambrose just did a fucking suicide dive. Now we're going to watch Rich Swann do a fucking suicide dive. Now we're going to see Brian Kendrick do a fucking super kick when we just saw the Usos do a fucking super kick. What the fuck's the fucking difference? There ain't no difference. The same fucking show. All these shows, I mean, one show fails, another show pops up. Superstars failed. Main event. Main event failed. 205 Live. Fuck this shit. No more. Are we going to watch these shows to the end of fucking time when all it is just a cheap attempt to cash in for some more viewers? It's enough already. The product is so overexposed, and they're overexposing a bad product. You know what I'm saying? This might have been a bad thing during the Attitude Era if it was overexposed. But you know what I'm saying? They still managed, and they had Sunday Night Heat, they had Raw, they had SmackDown, they had, they had WWE Metal or Jacked or, Shotgun Saturday Night, whatever it was, WWF New York, so it was like, What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? They always had a lot of shows, but now it's overexposed to the point where it's like, here's a shitty product, but we're gonna multiply it fucking 4 or 5 times over. No point to it. Overexposed. Bad. To the point where the best shit that you see is the post shows now, where the wrestlers are actually talking about. That's probably the most entertaining part, where you get to see the Miz and Daniel Bryan arguing and shit like that, and Dolph Ziggler going off on rants. It's kind of like, I said this time and time again, they show some good things, but on the post shows, half the time, it was almost like, I even said at one point, Zack Ryder's web show was more entertaining than the fucking shit that he was doing on TV. Like I said, these wrestlers, I know that they can be creative, I know that they can be entertaining, but they just need to be given the platform to fucking do it. They need to be able to express their creativity. They need to be able to kind of manage their own characters. Not saying that they can do whatever the fuck they want on screen, but let these guys at least be who they are. You know, I know you're letting them be who they are by using their regular name and just going out there and being an average Joe. But no, let them show their personality. This is what I've always said. Like I said, for a guy like Zack Ryder, people laugh at him. They say that he's not over and shit like that. But the guy showed on his web show that he got so popular and he got so many subscribers and he was getting so many views to the point where WWE had to actually buy out his channel and take control of it because they thought it was so much of a threat to their own views on their YouTube channel. And then they got mad and buried the motherfucker because he was being too entertaining. He was being too entertaining, and he was being himself as opposed to the shitty fucking character and personality of a jobber that they wanted him to be on Raw. Zack Ryder didn't want to do that, so, you know, he started making his own videos, trying to entertain other people based on what he wanted to do. Now, you would think the logical idea here would be to have Zack Ryder be himself on TV, have him be entertaining, write him in, you know, let him discuss with the writers what he'd like to do on TV. Oh, you know, okay, so you did this on your channel. How can we implement this into the show? Ask him for help. Try to figure something out that would entertain the crowd. If it's entertaining them on YouTube, chances are it would probably entertain them on TV. But with all this great production and all the millions of dollars that goes into the show, Zack Ryder is spending absolutely fucking no money besides the camera he bought on YouTube to shoot the video and some little props and shit that he probably had in his house anyway. So with the millions of dollars, they can make this shit fucking amazing, right? No, not at all. Instead, they just job him out on TV, they give him a belt, they take it away from him, and say, see you fucking later, and they bury his ass on the fucking roster. So, you know, this is how they handle their talent. They see talent in their wrestlers, they see these guys have personalities, and the only thing that they can think to do is shut them down. Because if it's not manufactured by McMahon from his mind and from the machine, then I guess it doesn't count. See, this is what I was trying to say to people on my last rant about Stephanie McMahon. Why Vince Russo is so right. Obviously McMahon didn't filter that guy, because if McMahon did filter him, how come he's coming up with all these lousy fucking ideas now? Not just now, but the past couple of years. How come the product has only got progressively worse? Somebody explain that to me. If he filtered out Russo all those fucking years, why is the product so shitty right now if this guy's just a bundle of good ideas and he's the genius that he says that he is, and everybody claims that around him that he is? You know, then how come the product is so fucking shitty? Can somebody answer me that? I don't think they can. I don't think anybody can really answer that, because it's not a fact. It's a fucking lie. I don't think McMahon is this great genius, you know, that he says that he is. The guy has a lot of good ideas, I'm sure, but not to the level that he says that he is. He needs people to help him out. And Russo was one of them. Russo made the guy a lot of fucking money. And you notice that when he left, the product wasn't bad, but as he grew the size of the writing team, that's when things got really fucking shitty. And now they have like a fucking massive writing team. Nobody even knows how many people are on this shit. But you know it's probably like more than 20 people. It's a lot from the last time I heard. And that was back in 2002, where Russo was talking about the size of the room and the writers, and Stephanie McMahon was there. It's like, why do you need these many writers? Really? It's really crazy. It's like you would think with more writers there'd be more ideas passed around, more writers, and there's so much less originality, and there's so much less to like and to want to watch. It's fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit already. When the fuck are they going to do something good? We keep saying this, oh, wrestling's going to get better. Wrestling's going to get better. It's 2017. The Attitude Era ended. Like, I say it ended like 2001. I like to say that the Attitude Era ended somewhere around there. People like to say the Attitude Era ended with Stone Cold and The Rock. I think that there was still a semblance of attitude, probably up to Survivor Series, I like to say, you know, with the Alliance. You know, I still found a lot of entertainment in those times. They might have not handled that invasion angle very well, but there were a lot of entertaining moments during the invasion. I mean, like, if you weren't entertained by heel Stone Cold and a lot of the moments that occurred during that, then I don't know. That's their opinion. But anyway, whenever you want to argue that the Attitude Era ended, the product started to get progressively worse. So, you know, but I'm saying that's how long it's been since those moments occurred during the Attitude Era. And we kept saying, and the boom period ended. And I know because I was in school when it happened, when people just abandoned wrestling. And they said they just didn't like the WCW invasion. They didn't like it. Some people, you know, thought it was shitty. It was too much all over the place. And they got out at that time. So, that right there, that angle was 16 years ago, right? It's 2017 now. 15 and a half years ago, whatever you want to say. That's more than a decade. That's more than a decade and a half, people. And we're sitting here saying, when is the next wrestling boom period going to happen? It's not going to happen. Not now, not ever. If this is what we've got right now, this current wrestling product, this is what we have, calling on The Undertaker every single time they're in the jam, this guy is fucking broken. I mean, like I said, I couldn't even fathom the fact that even in 2008, this guy was flying through fucking tables. The same guy that I'm watching in fucking 1991 and with Hulk Hogan and shit. What was it, 1990 at the Survivor Series when he first appeared? I think so. You know, the same guy in 2008. We're watching this guy crash through fucking tables, something 18, 19 years later. I always use that as an example when I talk about wrestling, you know, not with you guys, but with my, with my friends in Realityville, you know, whatever. I got friends here on YouTube, but when we do sit around and talk about wrestling, I always bring up that moment. I was like, that shows you that wrestling didn't want to move forward, that they were going to still rely on the same guys for years and years and years. And they did not want to move on from that. They wanted to keep on relying on Undertaker and keep relying on these guys and using them 1,000 fucking times until their bodies were broken. Undertaker then again in 2009 in WrestleMania 25, the guy flies out of the ring, lands on his fucking neck. I mean, how much more are they going to take out of this guy? And now, keep in mind, 2009, he lands on his neck. We're in 2017 now. So what is that? 8 years later. 8 years later. Undertaker is wrestling in the Royal Rumble. It shows that if you think wrestling is going to move forward and that there's going to be another boom period after that, you've got to be fucking kidding me. They have been using Undertaker now for fucking, what is it now? 28 years. 28 fucking years now we've had the Undertaker in the WWE. Whatever it is, whatever the exact figure it is, close to 28 years. We are never going to move forward. Like I said, use my idea. Undertaker mentoring Bray Wyatt, somebody said. I said that maybe Undertaker with Baron Corbin. Can you imagine if the Undertaker was like himself? He goes back to the biker look and then starts mentoring Corbin, and they come out together on the bikes and shit. Damn, like I said, that would be fucking awesome. You would see wrestling reaching a new level there. Remember all these ideas of Ric Flair mentoring Ziggler? They don't know how to use their legends. Like I said in my previous video, I think it was, I mentioned this probably in my Undertaker reaction. I said they have all these guys signed to Legends contracts, but they do nothing with these legends. All these guys like Vader and all that, and they have equivalents. What was Vader? Vader was a power lifter, but many people would argue that he wasn't quite the body that WWE normally looked for. I look at Kevin Owens. Why isn't Leon White Vader mentoring Kevin Owens when they have a lot of similarities in shit? Remember, Vader was the guy everybody was shocked when he would do moonsaults at his weight? You know, and people would argue that even though he was a powerlifter, he was kind of chubby and big. Well, how about Kevin Owens? Why isn't he being mentored? You know, all these people that they say are the next Shawn Michaels and everything, Seth Rollins. Remember, who was it? Jose Lothario would come out with Shawn Michaels and shit. Well, why isn't Shawn Michaels, why don't they ever put him with any of these other people? You know what I'm saying? Even the people he trained. You know, to try to help get them over. Now, he didn't train Seth Rollins, but they could put them together. There's similar qualities there. Seth Rollins is cocky. Shawn Michaels is, you know, the same way. But no, they don't want to do any of that. They have so much possibilities. We argue about the roster being thin. It's really not. They have enough guys. It's just a matter of just utilizing your talent to the best of their ability. Back during the Attitude Era, people would argue that they didn't have the most star-studded when it first started. But by the end of the Attitude Era, everyone was a fucking star. Could you imagine that? I'm saying these guys who most people look at and are just like, oh, yeah, like Sheamus and all that, and shit, and Jinder Mahal. Perhaps if used correctly, all these guys could end up being huge stars that we remember for years to come. It's just a matter of, you know, making shit interesting. Like, okay, I know he's a bit unchained, but what if they brought in the Iron Sheik to mentor Jinder Mahal? Would that not be entertaining? Would that not be funny? The way the Iron Sheik is, I know he's a bit all over the place. He's a crazy man, but the thing is, how much fun would that be if they just let the Iron Sheik go nuts on TV, record it? You know, put it in a controlled environment, put it backstage if you don't want to put it in the ring, but people would see that, and I guarantee you it would get people talking. I mean, you've seen when the Iron Sheik comes on Howard Stern and he's unchained. This guy's fucking crazy. And if he curses, bleep it out. It's a pre-taped segment. It could be so much fun. And just by Jinder Mahal being there, and arguing, and they could do numerous takes on it and shit. They could make these guys look like $1 million. These are just, you know, so here you go. This is the purpose of this video. I am giving WWE a whole fucking shitload of ideas here that are pure fucking money. And if they're not pure fucking money, they're pure fucking entertainment. And people, if they watch this shit, they will remember it. They would. You know, they pass off on opportunity after opportunity. Daniel Bryan and Shawn Michaels. There's a match that everybody wanted to see. Shawn Michaels didn't even help Daniel Bryan get over. That accolade, most people don't even know he was trained by Shawn Michaels. They had a huge fucking chance to do a match after he super kicked them in the fucking Hell in a Cell against Randy Orton. They had a big fat opportunity to fucking get this match going. And they didn't do it. Failed opportunity. It's failed opportunity after failed opportunity. So there's another idea. That's it, guys. I'm done giving them ideas. I've given them enough over the fucking years, and right here in this video, it's like a clearance sale to start off 2017. Here's a bunch of ideas. Use them if you want. I don't fucking care. But I'm saying here's a bunch of ideas that they could have used that they didn't use, and they won't use them. They won't use them. I'm not the first one to suggest these, I'm sure of it. But, I mean, they're kind of obvious. I'm just pretty much picking out some obvious things. I mean, like I said it time and time again, wrestling is not rocket science. It's not Albert Einstein equations. It's not like Sheldon Cooper mapping out everything on a fucking whiteboard. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to do big equations over complications. They do this all the time on TV. The show nowadays is so simple-minded, but they still overcomplicate things. They tell a wrestler to go out there and explain why they became heel. They can't even explain it. They can't even explain why he turned heel. Seth Rollins, you know what I'm saying? They did this with Natalya. And they're like, oh, well, I did it because, you know, it was time for a change. Oh, but I also did it because... Enough! Enough! First of all, the heel turn should be self-explanatory. When The Rock turned heel, he did it for himself. He did it because it would be beneficial for him, because he would be champion if he sold his soul to Vince McMahon. It was the same thing when they did it, when Stone Cold did it at WrestleMania 17. It made perfect sense. When Stone Cold looked at the belt and he looked at McMahon, you knew why he did it. They didn't need to map it out. They didn't need to fucking do 1,000 videos and post-show wrap-ups on it. Oh, okay, now I sort of understand why I did. No, you knew why that motherfucker turned heel. You didn't need to have it mapped out for you. Bullshit. We don't need to have these fucking flubbing explanations of why wrestlers turn heel and why they turn face, and people are all confused, and we're trying to figure it out on message boards and in YWC YouTube videos. No, wrestling is not rocket science. You do something, there should be a reason behind it. That's what I'm saying. When they try to do a storyline, they don't even know how to do a storyline. They have no idea how to write anything. When they write something, it doesn't even make any sense. And I've said this time and time again. It doesn't make sense because it really doesn't. They just write whatever they think, and then they're like, okay, let the audience figure it out. We're not going to give an explanation. Lazy fucking writing. So there you go, motherfuckers. That's why wrestling is never going to move forward. Because they don't even try to even do anything to try to improve it. It's the same formula over and over, and no one seems to notice this. But we're like, now they've completely shifted to doing business in an indie style way, because they realize that, you know, they really haven't changed that much. It's now just they're just giving guys now on TV that the internet community was complaining, you know, weren't getting jobs and shit. So they hire a bunch of motherfuckers that people wanted to see, you know, like Austin Aries and the rest of them. And where are these guys? You know what I'm saying? They don't even put them on the main roster. They don't even do anything with them. They're not doing anything interesting. WWE is this big ass company with legends like The Undertaker floating around, and Shawn Michaels available, and Stone Cold. You've got all these guys from TNA. There were ideas floating around of doing some type of invasion angle, some interesting stuff. But no, business as usual. Just business as usual, meaning that they're not going to do anything interesting, nothing out of the ordinary, and this is the way it's going to be for years to come. Look for this shit to be the way it is 10 years later. I don't know, like I said, I joked on here, I thought maybe they'd go out of business. I don't know if they will. They'll always, I think they'll always have a certain niche audience for a very long time. Enough to keep them afloat. Even if they just solidly go onto their network, they'll still have fans, they'll still have 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers, whatever it is on the network, and that is enough. Most people can't even get 1 million. Look, TNA is surviving, and they don't even have 500,000 views. So how are they doing it? They've been passed around like a fucking whore. So, I mean, look how many people have bought them out, channel changes with them. So, I don't really see realistically them going out of business. But as far as them changing, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to change. They're not going to do anything out of the ordinary that's going to warrant anybody to really get interested in them again, to create another wrestling boom period. So there's not going to be another boom period. There's too many other things on TV, too many shows, MMA, UFC, all these events with reality and shit, you know, going for them. So there's no reason for anybody to watch this bullshit. And I'm looking at this video. I'm already 41 minutes into it. This was it, man. This was to start off 2017. I figured that I would just get all my ideas out there, you know, for people who complain that there's not enough wrestling content on this channel. They're unhappy with the new direction. As somebody put it, this channel is a pile of flaming tires. I don't see how that is. I mean, if you see this channel right now, I say it's the best it's ever been, in my opinion. Seriously, I'm not tooting my own horn. If I was somebody on the outside looking at this channel, I would say this guy's really developed a great channel. There's a lot of variety on it. I'd say that some of these videos now, they're edited after, you know, being hard-headed and not wanting to edit videos. Now they're being edited. I think that this is a great channel, personally. Like I said, not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm doing a great job here. Anyway, you know, yeah. Anyway, guys, until next time, motherfuckers.